Changing minds one thought at a time.
Good evening, everybody.
Everyone.
Good evening, Akina.
Good evening, Jessica. I am just so excited because we're celebrating something special today. Why don't you tell them what we're celebrating?
Wow, I just wanted to share with you guys today, or tomorrow actually, 3 hours Eastern Standard Time, is my 1-year anniversary of me deciding to transform my health and my life. And I talked about this a little bit last week and what the difference a year can make and what can really be accomplished. And, you know, as many of you know on our calls who listen in every week or have listened to our podcast, you know, we are very real with you. We like to let you know what's going on in our lives, you know, every day. You know, Akina and I are constantly transforming. We're constantly growing as people, and that's why we have opened up, you know, this organization, Changing Minds Online. That's why we do this, because every day Akina and I are doing the best we can to change our mindset to create a better life for ourselves. And I want to just share with you the journey I've had over the last year, you know, and then I think Akina's going to share a little bit about her journey as well on transforming your health. So, you know, there's obviously health is really, really important. And, you know, for me, I was just sick and tired of feeling sick and tired a year ago. And I was the type of person who I wasn't necessarily living a very healthy lifestyle anymore. And, you know, I had previously been conscious of what I was eating and, you know, I had exercised, and I just stopped all that. You know, I started eating, you know, working in New York City, eating whatever was in happy hour and, you know, having my, you know, 1 to 2 drinks a day. And just really, I just felt terrible. You know, I was constantly having a struggle with the alarm clock, getting up in the morning, and the idea of being able to work out. I mean, it was just a foreign concept. And the only place I ever used to run prior to me deciding to get healthy would be on nights I had a couple more than those 1 or 2 drinks from the couch to the bathroom. Otherwise, I had not done a lot of running in my past. And, you know, I just look at how much of a change in my life really has just come out to be over the course of just 1 year. You know, I'm no longer that person. And, you know, the Bible says that, you know, when you enter a relationship with Christ, you're born again, that you're changed, that, you know, you're no longer the same person you were. And, you know, for me, when I changed my health, I had that same type of experience where my cells literally regenerated and literally I became a new, healthier version of myself. And it just allowed me to do so much and to do such great things like be able to have this podcast. You know, if it wasn't for changing my health and for taking my body seriously, understanding that my body is my temple. You know, Jim Rohn always says, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live in. But he did say that, the late Jim Rohn. And, you know, for me, it's just so important that we're very careful what we put in our bodies and the nutrition we're consuming. And, you know, we live in a world where our bodies are exposed to so many toxins and our bodies just have so much stress. We don't get the sleep we need. We're overworked. You know, and our food supply is just nutritionally bankrupt. And, you know, for me, then changing my nutrition and supplementing with, you know, I use high-quality vitamins, high-quality protein shakes and juices. It's really just changed my life. It's allowed me to be, like I said, a better version of me. I didn't know what my body was capable of until I gave it the right food. And now I really feel like I found out, you know, what my body is supposed to function the way that God created it to function. And, you know, Akina and I, you know, we have a special guest on the call. Her name is Doreen Miller. She's going to be joining us shortly. Doreen is a massage therapist, and she's a wellness coach, just like Akina and I are. And she is fantastic in really just using a whole holistic approach to the body. Now, a lot of people may know that, you know, I have a diagnosis of a neurological disability that, you know, has, when I was younger, affected my life in a very significant way. And by the time I was 12, I started looking into Chinese medicine and medications and taking herbs and taking supplements and just doing everything I could to give my body the best chance it had. And, you know, today My body's a reflection of that. And that's what we wanted to talk about today, is a lot of people want to transform their lives. They want to change their minds. And, in order to be able to do that, you first must need to transform your health. So this is going to be a call tonight. Really, this is about empowering women. If you want to be empowered, you have to be healthy. And if you don't take care of you, and many women, we don't take care of us. We take care of everybody else first. But if we're not taking care of us, we can't help or we can't take care of anybody else. So tonight's call is about transforming your health. I know Doreen is actually finishing up. She has her own massage practice, and she's finishing up, and she's going to be on the call soon. But before she joins us, Akina, I know you, Akina, a little story background about Akina and I is, Akina saw some of the great results I've had from changing my nutrition and just being able to run and having lost, I lost 6% body fat over the course of the year, where now I fall under a athletic category, and just being able to go from, like I said, running from the couch to the bathroom to running marathons. Akina actually decided to follow suit, and she decided to try the same nutritional cleansing system that I use and that Doreen uses also on the call. So, Akina, why don't you tell us, what made you decide that to transform your health? Why did you decide you were worth it? And, what is it like for you? How do you feel now that you're starting to transform your body?
Oh, wow. It started in January, and I decided that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had a successful career, but my personal life, I just felt like a big slug. Let's just put it the way it was. And so I started working out, and this was a person who the most workouts they got was from the house to the car to the job to the car to the house. Okay? So I started walking, and I started, really stepping up on inclines, started doing different types of exercise classes, things like that. But the problem was, why I really wasn't succeeding, is because after I do all this workout, I go and get me some wings from Papa John's. And that wasn't working. That wasn't working. So eventually I was like, look, I'm tired of spinning my wheels, because, yes, every ounce of exercise helps you. Don't get me wrong. But you have to make sure that the nutrition is right as well. And so I met Jessica, and she was telling me about what she was doing. And I said, okay, let me try that. I need some healthy food in my life. I don't cook because I'm a single person. I can, I just don't like to. And so with that, once I started putting the nutrition in my body that needed to be there, the vitamins, the exercises just intensified, and eventually now I'm at the point now where I am losing weight and I'm feeling better about myself. I'm hypoglycemic, and I used to get sick all the time, but since I've been putting the right things in my body, I've been really feeling much better. And, making the decision to transform my life was the best thing I could have possibly done. But now we will hear some wonderful words from our guest, Doreen Miller. Hi, Doreen. How are you?
I'm great. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hi, sorry. Sorry about the delay there.
Oh, no
that's all right. I'd like to introduce Doreen. Doreen is a close friend of mine, and like I said, she is a wellness coach using the same nutrition that Akina and I use, and she also has an expert in essential oils. She's amazing. I have seen her personally treat a couple millionaires, and people are willing to do anything for her services. She is a knowledge and library of alternative medicine, and I go to Doreen all the time. I'll send her a text and say, my muscle hurts, I did this, I did that, what can I do? And she always has an answer for me. So, Doreen, we want to welcome to your call tonight. Thank you so much for taking your time on a Sunday evening. to talk with us and empower women, or excuse me, Thursday evening, and empower women. And why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and, what your practice is all about?
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jess. So what I have over my career working in basically what I now refer to as sick care, but it was healthcare since I was 16 years old. I've always worked with, the body. I worked in a terminally ill children arena, and then I moved on to Pennsylvania Hospital where I worked in the neurological intensive care. And I had one of those, clenched teeth moments where you're like, that's it. I kind of got tired of, the politics of being in the hospital. They were going through the transition, I remember, 15 years ago when hospitals were merging. And, I just felt like, the hospital, Pennsylvania Hospital I worked at, was an absolutely wonderful hospital. It was a really, really a great place to work. But during that transition was when I just I think I just was burnt out in the politics that were happening, that I still wanted to work with people. And working in neuro, it's a lot of head trauma, so they can't move for themselves. So, as I was a critical care tech, so I was doing blood work and EKGs and things like that. And I also did wound care and personal care. So when I would turn them, I just would think there for the grace of God goes I, and I would, massage them and, make sure that, because on your best day, if you're like, I'm just going to spend the whole day in bed, try doing it. It hurts after about 2 hours. You can't do it. So I used to think about it, and a lot of the patients would say to me, boy, you should be a massage therapist. And I had that clenched teeth moment, and I'm like, why aren't I a massage therapist? I could still work with people and maybe help educate along the way so that they don't end up in a critical care situation. And so that's really what started my journey. My business is now called Wellness by Doreen because I've expanded from doing massage to learning the science and application with essential oils and then nutritional cleansing. So I work with the oils and the massage from the outside in, and the nutritional cleansing works from the inside out. And together, the combination is absolutely fantastic. I see such amazing strides in my clients, whether it be emotional things or stress. Everybody's walking around with stress. If it just sometimes, walking to your corner store can be stressful, it's just what's going on in the environment. So, I just decided to look at the entire body as a whole. So I started with massage, and then, as I said, I grew into, I'm actually allergic to a lot of colognes and perfumes. So I never really went near essential oils until I learned the difference. And let me tell you that this will go with anything in life that you are going to purchase or put on your body. It always, or in your body, it always goes back to source and how it's processed. And the same thing with the essential oils. I never went near them because I didn't realize that they were perfume grade. Almost, well, I can't give you a percentage, a very high percentage, and I don't care what store you buy it in, over-the-counter is a perfume grade. And that's why I could never breathe around them, and so I wasn't getting the therapeutic value until I met this company that is an organic, and because our organic standards are low, and other countries don't even have organic standards just because it's not in their makeup or laws. They actually say seed to seal. So that means they watch the plant from its seed until they seal the bottle. And, so that therapeutic grade essential oil, it could be antispasmodic, muscle soothing, great for circulation, but at the same time as it has a physical, it also has a fragrance aspect to it. So, it could be calming or it could be actually energetic. When you're using, say, lavender, everyone thinks of lavender as something that's very calming. when in fact it brings the body to what's called homeostasis, which is a balance. So if you're really tired, lavender could actually wake you up. And if you're overexcited, your adrenals are really, firing, it can calm you down. So it just brings the body to balance. And then that leads us into the nutritional cleansing that you're hearing Akina and Jessica talking about. It also replenishes the body and brings the body back to balance. With the same 30-day system, myself, I'm in the weight loss portion of the program where Jess is more of an athlete, not even more of an athlete, Jess is an athlete. Jess is an athlete. And, we could do the same system. Now, of course, she would up her calories because her workout is way different than mine. But it's the same system, but it's bringing the body to homeostasis, that balance that the body's always looking for. And, so it's like doing the nutritional cleansing is like a shower on the inside of the body, as we say. And it's not about necessarily the foods that we eat. Yes, if you're eating Papa John's, and I actually love pizza, by the way, but if you're eating things like that might be processed, yes, then nutritional cleansing will do that. But it's not just about the things the body can digest. It's actually about the things that the body cannot digest or cannot metabolize because it doesn't recognize it as food. Jess, you were just there on Super Saturday with Dr. Paul Anderson, and he talked about, our livers weren't designed to handle all the environmental toxins that are going on out there. At any given time, every day, we are all walking around with 167 toxins, one of them being jet fuel. We're just breathing this stuff in our environment. So the importance of the nutritional cleansing is to clear out those impurities that otherwise the body does not recognize as food, ends up storing it in our organs or our fat cells, and our fat cells are designed to protect us, and they swell up, and it causes a lot of the inflammation. So with myself as my business with Wellness by Bareem, I'm working with doing massage, so I'm working with the lymph, keeping that going. I'm working with the essential oils that, are known for, say, circulation or, with whatever is for the client. And then on the inside, the nutritional cleansing is doing its job to get rid of the toxin. How are we doing? Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that sounds great. And it's really funny. Something you said, I think, was just really resonated with me was that, our bodies don't recognize these things as food. And it's actually interesting, if you read the ingredients that are in things, a lot of the ingredients in our food, they're chemical compounds. They're not food. And a lot of the things we actually are ingesting through our diet by eating, things at the grocery store, if we're not looking at what it is we're putting in our body, it's not actually food we're putting in our body. It's chemicals. And it's interesting, I took a picture the other day at the supermarket, and I put this on Facebook, and we can share it on the website if you want later. I just saw, recently I've really become, very restrictive over what I'm eating as far as, processed food in the grocery store. And I looked at this, and there was, these fried chicken and mac and cheese and, mashed potatoes and gravy and fried some sort of catfish nuggets or something. But the way that it was made, it didn't even look like food to me anymore. And now that I'm eating healthy and I'm putting good things in my body, and I took a picture and I threw it on Facebook and said, if we were invaded today by evil aliens and they came into our grocery stores to raid us of food, do you think they would recognize that this is what food looks like for us? And it's interesting because it's it doesn't even seem like food to me. I can't imagine eating it. If I'm on a desert island stranded, I don't even know that I would actually look at that and say, okay, this is food. This is something I should be eating. But we do. We just put so much in our body that are not good for us and things that we shouldn't be eating. And, you are what you eat. And, literally you are what you eat. Your body, and a lot of people, may not think of it this way, but you eat something, and then your body metabolizes what you eat, and then it regenerates cells from what it metabolizes using the energy from the food you're eating. And you are literally making cells that are made from garbage. And, that's why I think it is so important Like Doreen said, a lot of us we've all done it, and to really get that stuff out of our body and to put good stuff in our body. But Doreen, to me it sounds like you're using the nutrition, and that's huge emphasis. We talked about that being a really big importance. But you also look at the body as a whole, and I think a lot of people don't necessarily do that. A lot of doctors were not taught in medical school to look at the body as a whole. They just treat symptoms, and symptom after symptom. They give you one drug to treat one symptom, and that drug produces another symptom, and then they give you another drug to treat that symptom. Before you know it, you're on like 6 drugs, and the symptoms are all being caused by the drugs. But why is it important to look at the body as a whole, and who can benefit from a whole body approach? Who is it? It's a whole body approach.
My experience working in the medical industry up until I started massage 15 years ago, and this was just like a personal observation. If you went to your general practitioner, you were going to leave with a bag of pills. If you went to a surgeon, you're going to have surgery because that's what they do. But if you go to an Eastern medicine or somebody that is going to look at the body as a whole, they're going to teach you how to heal yourself. That's the difference. So know that if you're going to see a surgeon, pretty much you're going to have surgery because that's all they know to do. And actually, when I was in massage school, Andrew Jefferson sponsored him at the old Bellevue. I forget what the current name is, and it's sticking out in my head because he said it's kind of funny we're having a wellness thing at the Bellevue because that's where Legionnaire's disease was first discovered in Philadelphia. But he was saying about the impact, he was beating down the doors of colleges. You have to teach an alternative medicine or, teach about Eastern medicine, and they're like, no, we got it. And then he realized if it was on the board, then they would have to teach it. So he went from trying to knock on the college doors to going to the board that's going to give the doctors the test. And he did make strides and have questions about holistic medicine on the board. So, I know Jefferson, they all have to take a semester of some type of holistic alternative type of medicine, which is really, that's saying a lot. And the paradigm hopefully is going to keep shifting that way. And sometimes it is shifting in that direction because insurance companies might rather pay, for an acupuncturist as opposed to $5,000 for an MRI. So it doesn't matter what their reasons are, just so long as we start swinging in that direction of people learning to take control of their health again. So who would benefit from it? And, you hate to say it, everybody, but honestly, everybody would. Knowledge is power. And the more that you learn, I can talk to people and my clients, and I can say the word GMO, and they have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's a genetically modified organism, and it's designed to be able to thrive while it's being sprayed with all kinds of insecticides, pesticides, all kinds of chemicals, and and then you're ingesting that. So, you might think that you're eating this really nice tomato, but it's full of chemicals. So educating ourselves in that regard. All that stuff causes the inflammation in the body. And, if you see any of the doctor shows, including Dr. Oz lately, they're talking about the visceral fat is actually caused by toxins and inflammation in the body, and that's really the basis to all the diseases that are going on. They're now starting to shift to that. So, what I can do at a ground level, and exactly what you're doing, is helping to educate people to take control of their health again and to know what you're putting in your body or know what's in your environment or understand the importance of nutritional cleansing. And I don't know, I wasn't obviously on the first part of the call, but, where nutritional cleansing is about replenishment. It's not a gut cleanse. It's not, as they say, a poo cleanse. It's about forcing out the lower vibration stuff that otherwise could not leave the body. So, anybody that honestly is within 3 feet of me is going to hear about, the things that are going to help, as far as educating themselves and knowing about GMOs and knowing what you're putting in your body. And you're even, a natural remedy for weeds in your house, your yard, not using Roundup, which is, as we know, a big chemical, but it ends up in our water supply. It ends up in our rivers, and it comes back to us, whether it's through fish or, our plants. So it's really about knowledge, and every person I work with, and I tell them, when I work with you, especially if you're new, I'm going to give you homework, and, we are going to talk the first part of the massage until I get to know you. And, I give my clients homework, the importance of drinking water. Half of your weight in ounces is just to hydrate the body. That's not even to, push out anything. That's just to keep your brain going and to keep your organs going. It's half of your weight in ounces. And that's every day, So everybody that I can come in contact with, and on my Wellness by Doreen Facebook page, I put out things there. So, as many people as I can help educate is better for us all. And thank you for both of you ladies taking control of this and changing minds online, because this is really great what you're doing here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doreen. Thank you for sharing it. And it's interesting, you brought up some really great points about just knowing what's in our food. And, GMOs, I didn't know this, but, a lot of companies are starting to label things to GMOs. And I had actually always knew what GMOs were. And, as we said, we're very real on this show. We tell you how we're making our lives better. And I didn't actually educate myself about GMOs until about a month ago. I was one of those people that Doreen talked about where if you would have said GMO, I knew what it stood for, but I didn't know what it meant. And, when I did find out what it means, I stopped eating GMOs. And now, I go to Whole Foods, I go to Trader Joe's, I buy things in places where things are being labeled to being GMO-free. And for the last month, I've actually, I'm certain, 100% certain, unless I've eaten out, that everything I've bought has been free of GMOs. And it's interesting, Kevin O'Leary, many of you may know him from the Shark Tank, but he actually was advocating for Monsanto, the big GMO company, recently on a debate, actually with a Canadian teenager. And the teenager said to him, their GMOs are not being tested, and his response was that we're in the test. So we're all essentially, I don't like to say guinea pigs because I have guinea pigs and I love them, but we are all like being experimented with and on. And we don't know how the body's going to react. But, I don't think putting modified things into our body is a good idea. We wonder why our bodies aren't functioning well. This stuff, like Doreen said, goes back to the beginning. It's not really food. And, Akina said in the beginning, maybe Papa John's all the time, every day isn't a good idea. And, I get the fact that a lot of people want to eat out. I'm a single person, too. I don't necessarily want to cook all the time. But you do have to be careful about when you're eating out. You have no control over what's in the food, and you don't know where they're sourcing their ingredients. And, again, Doreen, it's interesting you talked about the Dr. Oz show. I was actually invited as a guest on the Dr. Oz show about a month ago, and actually was just on that topic about really being careful about what you're eating in restaurants because you just don't know. Luckily, a lot of companies are now, chain companies in many states are being required to put the calorie counts and provide some nutrition information, but that's just really not enough. Knowing how many calories something has, you need to know where the food is coming from. So minimizing eating out, those are all really great ways to try and transform your body and transform your health. But this is a topic we could just talk about and go on and on forever. But I'm getting my 30-second warning from Dr. Akina. So I just want to thank everyone for this call tonight. Thank you, Doreen, for coming and sharing your expertise. Like her page, find her on Facebook, Wellness by Doreen. She puts up amazing stuff. I love to read her stuff.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And Akina, is there anything you want to add?
Thank you so much, Doreen, for being on the call with us. We truly appreciate you.
My pleasure. Anytime.
All right, everyone, then before we get cut off, God bless, have a great night, and we'll see you guys back here on Sunday.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.